So, in this video, I will discuss the powers and abilities of Rudeus Greyrat from Mushoku Tensei. And as you guys might have guessed, this video will also contain spoilers. So, Rudeus died in a car accident and he got reincarnated into a magical world. Rudeus is a powerful magician born with a strong Laplace factor, which is one of the reasons for his great magical power, besides his intense training at an early age. So now let's talk about some of his abilities. As he was reincarnated from another world, he is immune to Orsted's curse. And this is a trait that is inherited by his descendants. Rudeus started learning magic on his own at an early age. And he was able to do magic without speaking spells, which is voiceless incantation. Rudeus is one of the few people capable of using a voiceless incantation. And he is even rarer as a person who can use voiceless incantation with melded magics. But he cannot use voiceless incantation for healing magic due to his lack of understanding in regards to how mana is manipulated to heal. A normal magician takes at least 5 seconds for a simple spell, while for higher level spells it's 30 to 60 seconds. However, Rudeus can do it almost instantly, no matter how difficult the spell is. But it also comes with the exception of healing magic. Other than voiceless incantation, Rudeus also has demon eyes of foresight. It's a demon eye that Kashirika gave to Rudeus for giving her food, replacing his right eye. It allows the user to see a certain amount into the future. It is difficult to adjust the focus point. The farther into the future he looks, the more unreliable it becomes. The power of demon eyes is adjusted according to the amount of mana poured into them. The more mana Rudeus inputs into the foresight demon eye, the farther into the future he can see. And Rudeus is able to fine-tune the eye to see 10 seconds into the future reliably. Experienced warriors can negate the demon eye's usefulness in battle by making split-second decisions, forcing the eye to see multiple futures. This is learned when Rudeus duels Rudeus. Some beings such as Batagati are completely immune to the eye when wearing the fighting god armor. The eye can also act as a conduit for another being's power, as Hitagami was able to show Rudeus a vision of where to find Aisha and Lilia through his eye. Another weakness of the eye is that it does not pick up sounds, and as such, Diaz was able to incapacitate Rudeus using howling magic. Overuse or losing control of the eye may cause the user some sort of pain and nausea as a result of overloading the brain. This is shown when Rudeus felt a moment of extreme nausea after Hitagami used the eye to show him a vision of the future. Or when he originally received the eye and it took him a while to learn to control it, since it would give him a double vision. After his demon eye of foresight, Rudeus also got clairvoyant eye. It's a second demon eye that Kashirika gave to Rudeus for giving her a donut when she is captured by a Toph, replacing his left eye. It allows the user to see far away. However, the focus point is difficult to control. Rather than acting as a scope, the clairvoyant eyes seem to change the perspective of one's vision, with the amount of mana determining the distance from the user. While Rudeus is a pacifist and doesn't like fighting in general, when he does, he is a formidable opponent. He is capable of casting magic simultaneously in both hands, as well as casting melded magic in an instant. With his scientific knowledge from his previous life and creativity, he always strives for developing more efficient magics for himself to use. Most of the spells he uses a lot, like Stone Cannon, have been stated by Batagati to have an Emperor-class level of power. Initially, when he was a child, he mostly used water magic. However, as an adventurer, Rudeus primarily used earth magic such as Stone Cannon and got his namesake, Quagmire. His total magical power has been stated by Orsted, Kashirika, Batagati, and Perugius Dola to be greater than that of Laplace. He was able to create a nuclear explosion, an extension of fire, and air melded magic similar to that of the firework used in Roa in his fight against Orsted. According to Orsted, this magic could be considered god-class magic. Rudeus created a nuclear explosion in a desperate attempt during his fight against Orsted. By focusing a tremendous amount of magic power on a designated area, he creates a huge explosion around his pinpointed target T and leaves behind a mushroom-like cloud similar to a nuclear explosion. During the second confrontation with Orsted, he managed to destroy a village with this magic. Orsted even opened the first dragon gate to tremendously lower its power. The explosion was still packed with power similar to Laplace. And it is hinted that this is fire-type magic. Rudeus also uses earth magic to make figures, and Zenoba and Perugius are extremely interested in them. Rudeus also has the ability to disturb magic. It is a unique magic that Rudeus copied from Orsted in their first fight, and it works by interfering with the magic of the opponent, disturbing it, and thus preventing it from working. This is a very rare and difficult technique, as Sylphie, who is a talented mage in her own right, had a lot of trouble learning it. He has a spell called Explosive Stone Cannon. It is a variation of Stone Cannon originally developed by Rudeus. The stone is hollow, thereby exploding at the point of contact. He has another powerful spell known as Electric. Realizing that lightning might be a bit overkill as a single target spell, Rudeus weakened the king-class water magic. Rudeus was able to use voiceless incantation to create a miniature thundercloud, compressing it and designating a target for lightning. In order to distinguish it from the normal overpowered spell, he named it Electric. The electric strike is hard to avoid, and it can numb the nervous system, making it a very useful spell against people who can wear taki. It is effective against the immortal demon race as demonstrated in his battle against a toad. Rudeus also learned sword fighting techniques. But he only managed to learn them to elementary or intermediate level. Since Rudeus cannot make use of taki, he cannot rise to advanced rank sword techniques. But other than this, Rudeus learned Saint Dragon Taki. This is a fighting style that was created by dragon god Urban, who was considered to be the weakest dragon god due to having the lowest magical capacity ever. But he rose to become the strongest with this fighting style. It involves defeating an opponent using a minimal amount of magical power. It is described as a fighting style by Rudeus that combines magic arts and the real-world martial art wushu. Rudeus is currently being taught how to use this fighting form by Orsted. This fighting technique is the best fighting style for Rudeus due to its great compatibility with the magic armor, making the magic armor performance more potent, efficient, and useful during combat. It should be noted that it is a fighting style and not a type of taki, as Rudeus lacks the ability to use actual taki. Rudeus has been noted by others to be a battle genius. During his first fight with Paul, he was smart enough to trap Paul's leg to restrict his movements. During his time as an adventurer, he was known for his skill with Quagmire and trapping opponents with earth magic before attacking. After training with Orsted, he became more aware of his tactics, and Rudeus was able to perform the strategies more efficiently since he was conscious of them. In the case that he is trapped by a high-level barrier magic that restricts his magic, he will use the manatite stone to destroy the seal and use a combination of Quagmire, Mist, and Electric to slow down or disable his opponents, before using a summoning scroll to summon his trump card, the magic armor MKI, to defeat his enemies. While he was on his way to save his mother along with his father, he was also able to come up with a strategy to defeat a hydra that could regenerate its heads and was immune to magic. Now, other than some of his original powers and abilities, Rudeus also possessed some very strong magic items, and now I will tell you guys about most of them. So the first item is his magic staff, and it's called Arrogant Water Dragon King, Aqua Hirsha. It's an expensive staff gifted to him by Eris on his 10th birthday. The material of the wand is made from a rough and bony wood that comes from a tree called Elder Torrent that grows in the large forest of the eastern region of the Mills continent. The wand will become a subspecies after it drinks from the Fari spring. The tip of the staff is adorned with a large magical stone that is the size of a fist that comes from a stray dragon located in the Begaliads continent. The maker is from the Asura Kingdom Palace's magic team. A wand's rank is determined by the wood and the magic rock, both of which are A-rank materials. The magic stone alone is at least worth over 100 Asuran gold coins. The wand has a lot of sentimental value to Rudeus, as Rudeus was able to see how important it was to Rudeus and convinced him to not sell it so that they could take Rudeus to the Mills continent by the legal route. Instead, Rudeus agreed to enlist the services of a smuggler, even though they would be getting involved with people who would harm children, which is against Rudeus' warrior code. Rudeus commonly calls it his friend and has a few nicknames for it. Although his power has outgrown the staff's abilities, he will still occasionally use it during important battles. The staff is normally kept in his room as a decoration due to Rudeus, who usually uses shotgun cannon as his main weapon. Later, he also got Mana Absorbing Stone. It's a stone made from the Manatite Hydra's body. From Rudeus's testing of the stone, there is a front and back of the stone. When mana is applied to the back of the stone, a high-pitched sound would ring out, and the front of the stone will emit a magic-canceling wave. The stone does not actually absorb mana, and its magic breakdown power is similar to the disturbed magic. However, the stone also requires an almost equal amount of magic power to negate attacking magic. But, the stone is more effective than disturbing magic spell, due to its capability to cancel completed magic. Magically created objects like dolls that have their mana stabilized will not be destroyed by the waves. But magic attacks that do not have their magic stabilized will be destroyed. Magic circles will not be destroyed by the stone, but the barriers created will. By inserting the stone into the prosthetic arm, it can be an effective tool. Later, when Rudeus lost his arm in his fight against the Hydra, he got a prosthetic arm. That arm can also allow the wearer to feel tactile feedback from the fingers, and it even has the strength to restrain Zenoba's power. The arm can also fly out as a rocket punch. It is used as the replacement of Rudeus's left hand, which was lost in the fight against the Manatite Hydra. It continued to function as a rocket punch gauntlet after all of his limbs were restored by Orsted's King-class healing magic, until its capabilities were replaced by the second version black magic armor. He still wears them as gauntlets, and later he got one for both hands. Rudeus also has Dragon Tribe's robe. It is a grey robe worn by great sage Titiana 1000 years ago. It is made of the Death Adder rat skin and was sewn together using a thread imbued with magic. It has considerable magic resistance and is highly blade-proof. The weight of the wearer is reduced by half, and it is possible to move like the wind. Rudeus received it from Orsted before going to the Asura kingdom to assist Ariel to become the queen. Orsted also gave Rudeus Dragon God's armlet. Its crest was engraved by Dragon God with the ability to block Hitagami's future foresight from seeing the future of the wearer. It effectively blocked Hitagami's view of Rudeus's immediate surroundings. Orsted gave it to Rudeus after they started working together. There's a weapon that Rudeus had Roxy with one of Roxy's friends developed. Because Hitagami suggested creating a magic tool that shoots magic that only Rudeus can handle for the fight against Orsted. This weapon is able to fire off 10 of his standard stone cannon per second. Rudeus only uses this weapon in conjunction when wearing the magic armor Mk1. It's called Gatling gun, and Rudeus defeated Atoph using this weapon by 3 steps. In the first step, Atoph's armor was smashed into several small pieces. In the second step, Atoph's shoulder was torn to pieces. In the third step, Atoph's upper half of the body became full of holes that were blown off and separated from her lower half. And then after Atoph realized that magic armor Mk1 wasn't the fighting god armor, she pointed out the difference in color and the Gatling gun technique that wasn't present in fighting god armor. So Rudeus also has his own magic armor. An expansion of the Zeref's arm system. It is a magic armor that boosts the wearer's physical capabilities in much of the same way as the fighting god's golden armor. After Rudeus met his future self and was given the future diary, he was given the idea to create the armor so that he could become strong enough to challenge Orsted. He had Zenoba and Cliff work on the armor and was given details about the fighting god's golden armor by Hitagami to speed up production on the first prototype, which was painted in camouflage and was extremely bulky, about 3 meters tall, and bigger than what the future diary described its version, which only covered the body. The next versions of the armor are black and smaller to reduce mana consumption. The armor can also be equipped with multiple tube-shaped magic tools that were modified to be able to handle Rudeus's magic power and be able to fire off his standard stone cannon to create a Gatling gun. The later version can be worn all the time, while the magic armor Mk1, which is more powerful and uses more energy, is used for when fighting stronger enemies. Rudeus most frequently wears the magic armor Mk2. Due to Cliff moving to Milis, Roxy has joined Zenoba in the development of the magic armor Mk3. Atoph mistakenly thought that magic armor Mk1 was the fighting god armor, but, later on, realized it wasn't and commented that it has the power and speed equaling fighting god armor. The only downside of magic armor Mk1 is that Rudeus' magic is dramatically drained in exchange for a godly combat capability, seemingly rivaling that of the fighting god's golden armor. So I think I told you guys most of the important powers, abilities, and weapons of Rudeus. But if you guys think I missed something, then you guys can tell me that in the comments section. So now that's all for this video, and thanks for watching.